take a minute to hear from our rooted writers who are here. So, Erin, we're going to start with you. If you can just introduce yourself, say where you are in the world, and give us like the genre of your book, maybe the vibe of your book. And then the question I want to ask is, how has the learning portion of the mentorship impacted your novel and writing process?
All right. My name is Erin. I am living in Oregon in the US right now. Hello, Portland. I saw that. Um, my book is a romantic fantasy, um, in kind of a subverted light versus darkness sort of themes kind of going on. And I am just now getting into the revision process. So that's exciting. Um, yes. So the learning the modules part of the mentorship is really like concrete for me. It's been kind of the basis foundation where you start, and it's all the fun learning part, and so it gives you something concrete to work on. Um, and so it's not as much like if you're reading a book and it's kind of nebulous and vague. It gives you concrete things to work on, which is really, really helpful. Um, so, and really rooting your story in yourself and in your point first, I have found to be like life-changing. I've learned things about myself, and that in turn has influenced my book. And so, yeah, it's a fantastic foundational system.
Thanks, Erin. Addie, you want to go next?
Sure. Hi, I'm Addie. I live in Copenhagen, Denmark. Um, my book is also a fantasy romance, deeply rooted in sort of nature as magic and power. Um, and as for the like learning material for this mentorship, similar to what Erin said, but like I feel like it's this for me, and I'm a 5 on the Enneagram, there's a nice structure and like there are things I can do. So there's like lots of research I can do. I can read up on all the things and learn all kinds of cool stuff. But then there's this structure for me to kind of put all of these ideas and things into that go together, and I can see how they go together. And it helped me see what I was missing. Like it was like fill in this thing, fill in this thing. I don't even know what this is. Oh, I can see why that might be important when I get to this other stage. So I should figure this out now. And it saves me a lot of time and energy and frustration later that I did figure that stuff out. Um, and like Dan was saying, like some people don't like the Enneagram and some do. But I've really found the Enneagram stuff so useful when like doing character development, because I'm writing about characters who, of course, like I have very strong and deep feelings for and great understanding for, but they aren't necessarily the same personality as I am. And so it's helped me be more consistent in terms of how they are going to actually react to things that is not how I would react to it, which is how I would naturally want to write that. And so it's really helped me make them their own person, versus sort of mushing myself into everything in a way that's confusing to the actual development. So that's been amazing. Yeah.
Thanks, Addie. Carrie, how has the learning portion of the mentorship been helpful for you?
So, hi, I'm Carrie. I live in East Tennessee. And how has the learning part been useful for me? Oh, extremely. Basically, before I came to the membership, I just kind of had like this mishmash of notes. I've been like working on my novel for a long time, okay, and it's kind of everywhere, and I work on this and I work on that. And this breaks it down into steps where I've actually got something concrete now that I can see a logical progression with. And that's what I need.
Cool. Thanks, Carrie. Thank you all. We're going to hear from them again in a little bit. I'm going to jump back into my screen share. Hopefully it will work. Is it working? Yay. Okay, great. So let's hear from our rooted writers. Addie, let's start with you. What difference has the coaching part of the mentorship made in your writing life?
Ooh, two main points, I guess. One is simply not feeling alone and stupid. Like, just realizing that like other people are struggling, other people have all the feels and are trying to figure it out, and it's not always clear what's happening or what you're supposed to do with it. And so it just really gave me a lot of confidence to be like, wow, okay, it's not just because I'm screwed up and I don't know what I'm doing here. Like, this is just hard, and there are other people here who are doing that with me. And then like you said, I mean, like, of course, like we've had our sessions on the group coaching calls that have helped me literally move a piece of my thing. But I think like listening to other people being coached and having like those aha moments of like, oh wow, now I'm getting a different perspective on this because it's not my story. I'm hearing it from sort of another point of view. And so it's just super helpful to help sort of fill in some little blank spots that I probably wouldn't have seen. I think there's like that's sort of a theme for me. I think in a lot of this is like there's so much I don't know that I don't know. And so being exposed to a lot of things from a lot of different perspectives really helps me flesh out where I'm coming from and what I want out of my story. Yeah.
Thanks, Addie. Carrie, what about you? How has the coaching impacted your writing experience? You're muted.
Okay, I think I know the absolute biggest thing for me, okay, is the idea that when I get stuck, I now have the confidence to know that I will get unstuck. Okay. Whereas, like before the membership, if I got stuck, it'd be like, I'll never figure this out. I'm a bad writer, and here I'm like, I see other people get their problems solved, and, I go through my stuff and I'm like, oh, yeah, there it is. There's my point, So now I actually know that those hurdles are going to be there, but I'm going to get over them.
I love that. I always get really emotional when I hear people talk about the mentorship. Okay, Erin, what about you and the coaching?
Oh man, I have a lot of feelings about the coaching. And they're all good ones. Where the learning is the foundational aspect of the mentorship, the coaching feels much more personalizing those messages that you learn in the learning, because I mean anybody can read a book and be like, okay, this is what I do, A, B, C, D, etc. But then people with anxiety, which are many, we're like, okay, wait, but is this right? How do I move from here to here? And does this work? And so when you're able to get someone else's eyes on your story, who isn't just looking at it for the first time, and who knows what's going on, so you don't have to like give a 5-page summary of what's going on every single time. Who knows your characters' names, who knows their struggles, who knows their Enneagram types and what makes them tick. It is absolutely, I don't know the word. I'm a writer. I don't know the word. It's just, it changes the game. And like the others have said, being witness to other people experiencing the same thing is just so empowering, both for them and for you, because you're like, yes, way to go, you got this. And then at the same time, something ticks in your own head and you're like, okay, I got this. This makes sense. So, I mean, I love the group coaching calls. They are probably one of my favorite parts. I mean, the whole thing is my favorite part, but
I mean, the calls are my favorite part too, but I'm not going through the coursework on my own. So, okay. So, Carrie, let's start with you. What's been the biggest benefit of the community in the mentorship?
A safe space. I mean, just the fact that I feel safe sharing anything, okay? And the things that other people share let me know that I feel safe. And it's made me realize that I don't really have a safe space in my life. I'm always like censoring my mouth. So
Mm,
that for me has been the biggest thing.
that's interesting. Erin, what about you?
The people in this community are incredible. There is a huge amount of bravery and vulnerability that is needed to be able to share what you share. And it's scary, but I never feel unsafe. And these are people that I have not just seen on calls. I've had sometimes we have one-on-one calls together and we just end up talking about each other's books for 4 hours. That's not an exaggeration. And I mean, every once in a while we'll play a video game together or something. And so, I mean, it goes beyond just writing. And the writing, while amazing, is also, it's just your people. It's finding the people that you love and the people that you care about and the people that care about what you care about. And that is invaluable.
Addie, what about you?
Yeah, I'll mostly echo, I guess, what's been said. I mean, this is one of the safest places in my life. And that's a lot. That's worth more than anything in this life. I share things in this group that I don't share with 99% of the world. And I'm scared and I cry and I share my characters and I share things that really matter to me that I'm afraid to share in other spaces. And it's just such a sense of relief and homecoming to be in this group of people who not only accept all of this weird and vulnerable thing I am, but then are also weird and vulnerable with me, And so it's just yeah, it's that sense of not being alone and actually really being seen, and feeling like this is a place where I can be seen. So it's amazing. Yeah.
Mm. Okay. What would you say to folks who are here to help them know whether the mentorship is right for them?
Goodness. If you're willing to be brave and if you're willing to be vulnerable for the sake of yourself and for the sake of your story, and if you're willing for it to not always be about you, but for the benefit of you, then I think you could find a home here. I think that the people who come in are so amazing. I've been here for about a year now. And seeing people come in is always so exciting to all of us. And so we're all just like, hey, welcome, happy to have you. And so if you are willing to be brave for the sake of yourself and your book, then I say, join us.
Addie, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's if you are craving or needing connection, because I found that with writing in isolation, because I was very isolated because I didn't want to share my story with other people. It was weird. I didn't, it was very uncomfortable. And so I was just literally in my own little world writing on my own. I felt very isolated and very stuck. And so if you are open to connecting, like that's what this, I think this mentorship really provides, like versus say a book or getting some, one-off feedback. It's more about building connection and relationship that is going to support you and your story. But like Erin's saying, you have to kind of be brave. You have to be willing to step into that connection, I think, to get what you need out of this mentorship. Because if you just join up and you kind of just do the work, but you don't actually engage, then you're not going to get what it's trying to do. You're going to kind of miss that. So I think you need to be willing and open to engagement and connection, and actually really being present and showing up. And that does require a fair amount of bravery, but also recognize that we're all being brave too.
Thanks, Addie. What about you, Carrie?
I mean, I have to agree with everything that Addie and Erin said. And I would add, you have to really enjoy introspection. Okay. If you sort of like, because if I'm one of those people that likes to figure other people out and figure myself out. And I think, this is where I have a home. And I think a lot of other people are like that too. I mean, you really need to want to discuss like interiority and how you feel.
True. True. Yes. Okay. Thank you, Erin, Addie, and Carrie, so much for sharing. I always learn so much when you guys share. Okay. So